3:33. The first thing Daniel noticed, before the cold, before any of it, was that the apartment had gone quiet, in a way apartments never do. No hum from the fridge, no traffic bleeding through the window, no creak of the building settling into the night. Just his own heartbeat and the clock. 3:33 a.m. He told himself it was a coincidence. People wake up at the same time sometimes. Something about circadian rhythms, some article he'd half read once. But this was the fourth night in a row, and each time the numbness in his chest arrived a half second before he opened his eyes. Like his body already knew what was coming and was trying to warn him. The room went cold in a way that didn't feel like weather. It felt like something had entered. He sat up slowly, eyes adjusting to the dark. The phone screen beside him flickered without reason, still showing 3:33, the seconds refusing to move forward. Then, a knock. 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 Not from the door out to the hallway, from the wardrobe against the far wall. He didn't move. His mind reached for excuses the way a drowning man reaches for driftwood. Pipes settling, the wind finding some gap in the frame, upstairs neighbors dragging furniture at an ungodly hour. Anything that made sense. But the wardrobe doors were open, just slightly. A dark seam where there should have been none. He'd closed them. He always closed them. It was a small, stupid ritual he'd had since he was a kid. Closet shut. Nothing left with room to open on its own. Another knock. Closer now. From under the bed. His breath caught halfway in his chest and stayed there. A held note with nowhere to go. The floorboards gave a slow, soft creak, like something shifting its weight beneath him. Not scrambling, not startled, patient, like it was waiting to see what he'd do first. The phone screen went black. Total darkness swallowed the room, and in it, a voice arrived. Not loud, barely more than breath, but close enough that it seemed to originate inside his own skull rather than the air around him. Don't look at the door. He looked anyway. He couldn't help it. Some animal wiring in him needed to know where the danger was, even if knowing made it worse. The door was open. Not onto the hallway. Onto a version of the room that mirrored his own. Same bed, same walls, same clock, frozen at 3:33. Except in that room, he was already sitting up. Already awake. Already watching himself. Smiling. A second knock came from directly behind him this time. Slow. Deliberate. The sound of something that had run out of reasons to hide. The mattress dipped on one side, gently, as if someone, or something, had just sat down beside him. A whisper brushed the back of his neck, warm in a way that made the cold room feel colder by comparison. You only get one chance to wake up from 3:33. He tried to move. His muscles screamed the command and received nothing back, like a phone line ringing into an empty house. Across the doorway, the other version of him rose to its feet. Unhurried. It crossed the threshold between the two rooms the way a person steps over a low curb. Barely an event at all. And kept walking. Straight toward him. The last thing Daniel saw, before the dark folded shut entirely, was his own hand lifting from behind his shoulder and reaching for his throat. He woke up gasping. Sunlight. Real sunlight. Thin and grey through the blinds, but sunlight. The clock read 7:14 a.m. The wardrobe doors were shut, exactly as he'd left them. His phone buzzed with a weather alert, mundane and stupid and wonderful. He sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, running his thumb along his own throat, checking for something he couldn't name. Nothing. Smooth skin. A pulse. Too fast, but present. A dream, he told himself. A bad one, that's all. He almost believed it, until he caught his reflection in the wardrobe mirror while getting dressed, and saw, for just a fraction of a second, that the man looking back had not quite finished raising his hand. That night he didn't sleep. He sat in the kitchen with every light on, coffee going cold in front of him, watching the microwave clock tick past midnight, past 1, past 2. He'd read somewhere that ghosts and glitches alike needed a door, a threshold, a moment of vulnerability, and he intended not to give it one. At 3:29 a.m., the kitchen light buzzed once and dimmed, though nothing was wrong with the wiring. He'd checked it twice that week. At 3:31, the apartment went quiet, in that same specific way. Not silence, but the absence of sound, like something had reached out and turned the volume of the world down to 0. At 3:32, his own front door, 15 feet away, creaked open on its own. Not toward the hallway. He could see that much from where he sat. It opened into his kitchen. The same table. The same cold coffee. Himself, sitting there, already watching, smiling. He didn't wait for 3:33 this time. He grabbed his keys and ran. 3 nights later, he was 3 state,